So I'm pretty sure I shouldn't use the fact that I'm live to do this. This will make my life a lot easier. Get my hair back a little bit so it's not completely in the way. Problem solved. Okay, so let me move this out of the way so you guys can see. And make my head a bit smaller. Perfect. And what are we going to call this? Let's edit this and call this 9.2 M plus tier list. Okay. So, I saw Dratnos' video, and I hard disagree with a lot of his picks. And we're going to say why. So, these actually aren't in perfect order, but I just put them back because I realized I should probably live stream this. So, Blood Death Knight, A tier, 100%, no questions asked. The problem is, its damage is still on the lower side, I think, with potentially running Crimson Rune Weapon and the switch over Necrolord with the Covenant Legendary, which Necrolord got buffed for them. I think they're going to close the gap with like Prot Paladin, Brewmaster Monk, Prot Warrior, and in my opinion, they're going to go from a B tier to an A tier. The utility's good. The fact they don't have to be healed very much is good. Sure, really high keys. I mean, we're only talking like up to 20s essentially. Yeah, if you get the 30s, they could definitely get globaled, right? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about 20s. And that's pretty much what I'm talking about, like the 10 to 20. Prot Paladin, 100% S tier, no questions asked. I actually shelved my Prot Paladin 9.0. They're very squishy. I felt like they weren't that strong, but now their damage is good. Being Kyrian is just so broken. You do a lot of healing. You're starting to encroach on Brewmaster Monk and Death Knight healing. Your damage is superb. You have AoE silence is really easy to group everything up. You have so many short cooldowns, offensive and defensive. Right now they're broken. They're just getting, they're already using the Kyrian Legendary because of how, powerful it is, but they were using other legendaries that were also very powerful. So now you're going to be dealing so much more damage. It's just going to be absolutely insane, especially the tier bonus. Brewmaster, this is another one. So these two Dratnos had A and B tier. Disagree with them 100%. Brewmaster had two issues, one being sustainability, like self-healing wasn't great. The other one is they have lower health. Well, guess what? Their 4-piece set bonus ticks both those boxes. The downside is double legendaries doesn't do much for them. The Kyrian Legendary isn't that powerful. It just makes your Ox summon every single time you use Weapons of Order. So you get it up for 15 seconds every 40 minutes, 45 or 40 seconds. Whatever, I think Weapons Orders. I forget if it's initially 2 minutes or 1 minute. I feel like it's 1 minute. But anyway, you get it down quite a bit being Kyrian. But maybe if you go Necro, if the Necro is the play there, I could definitely see Bone Dust Brew with the Legendary being pretty powerful. But Weapons of Order is so powerful that I feel like you'd have to have a lot of power spike. Where are we at now? Guardian Druid. Here we go. I'm going to put them at the very bottom of... I'm going to put them... I'm going to put them in A tier only because of what Blood Death Knight in A tier. I think AoE damage is better than Blood Death Knight. I think single target damage is probably not going to be as good as Death Knight. They are unkillable in some cases, but they're very cooldown dependent. Like Blood Death Knight has a ton of short cooldowns and medium cooldowns, and I think that with Druid it kind of goes big pull, then a couple small pulls. But if played right, I think they're really strong. I definitely think they are A tier. God, I forget which one of these are which. Hold on a second. I don't play Demon Hunter. Vengeance, Demon Hunter, Icon. Okay, it's this one. Sorry. They're going to be in B tier. They've just been nerfed. Kiting is not as important, so the Rage Snap aggro just isn't necessary. They're strong, but I just don't see them. I do agree with Dratnos. They're not going to be an MDI that much. Neither is my favorite tank either. But I feel like they've really lost their niche because tanks have become more tanky. The need to kite is less often. The affixes have been nerfed. So I think that It does decent damage. It's a little bit on the squishy side, but it's pretty good sustain. But the reason why it's so strong is because it could tank from a range very well and kite very well. Without those being there, I don't think it's necessary. Prop Warrior, B tier. Hate to say it. Prop Warrior be S tier if it wasn't for the fact that it has crap utility, silence, and gathering abilities. So Prop Warrior for me is very close to Protection Paladin in damage. From experience, I still do more damage as a Prop Warrior, but I'm not as good on my Prop Paladin and my Prop Warrior. Full disclosure. I'm very good at my Prop Warrior. My logs are all like 95 plus my Prop Warrior, whereas my logs on my Prop Paladin are like 85. And that last 15% or that 10% gap is huge, right? But even in Mythic Plus, I do a lot of damage on my Prop Warrior. The problem is Prop just... You have Shockwave, and I do run the Conduit, so Shockwave's like on like a 30-second cooldown, but you only have one Silence, you have Spell Reflect, you have Demo Shot to get that, but man, they don't have a lot of good gathering ability, you know, they don't have the AoE shield. You know, with Monk, you can use Ring of Peace with your class to bring things together. With Death Knight, you have all sorts of grips. Druid just doesn't care because they take no damage. Even a Vengeance has a lot of ways of gathering stuff and grabbing stuff and silencing and everything like that, or at least getting aggro from a range. That's really important. Prot Warrior doesn't have any of that ability. And then if you can't get consistent kicks and stuns on the group, you do take a lot of damage from that magic damage. Things like Theater of Pain, where there's a lot of physical damage and some of the wings, Prot Warrior is really good for. And they do a lot of damage. Their double legendary is fantastic. Wait, I gotta make sure. How do I see if there's comments? Oh, there we go. Okay. Double legendary is great for Prot Warrior. Their set bonus, I mean, don't sell it short. Their set bonus does everything they need. Gives them more damage, more rage, a lot more rage, so much so you're actually going to be using Ignore Pain as a rage dump, which will help with taking magic damage, because Ignore Pain's awful to click, but if you can't dump it fast enough with Revenge, you're going to use Ignore Pain. And you're also getting a free empowered Ignore Pain as well. And that itself then doesn't feel awful to use. It's off the global cooldown. But still, I think Warrior, I think in Raid is higher than some of these tanks. Like, when we talk about Raid, I would probably do this. Like, this would be what I would say for Raid, right? But people actually disagree with that. But anyway, healers. What do we got first? Resto Druid. Resto Druid has a lot of pros. I'm going to put them... I am going to put them in B tier. I'm actually going to follow the Dranos philosophy here because I do agree with them. Because I think that there is no A tier. I think there's only one S tier healer. And I think everything else is dropped to B tier. The good news is everything, in my opinion, B tier and plus is viable for any group in 20s. To be honest, every single class can do 20s. But it's like, you know, if you play this class, can you make if you're really good at this class, this is kind of the key thing. If you're B tier or higher, what that tells me is that your class is at a point where if you're very good at it, you can help carry the group with your kit and abilities. And I think a Resto Druid can do that. They're able to put up a lot of hots, and then they can go boomy, and they can convoke, and double legendary, and their set bonus isn't too bad. I think they're solid B tier. Holy Paladin, also B tier. They got nerfed really hard, unfortunately. And I think that we'll have to see how it plays out. Their damage got nerfed. Their healing got hit really hard. And that's going to be the key thing is if they're able to consistently do enough throughput in small groups, and I think they'll be an A tier healer. I think right now we're kind of thinking their throughput got hit pretty hard. Yeah, the set bonus can help make up for it, but the set bonus is more raid oriented than group oriented, like 5-man. So, Disc is going to be interesting. I'm going to put it in C tier because I think that it still lacks the capability of carrying a group. In an organized group, I think Disc can really excel. I think its kit is good. It does good passive damage. You know, there's absorbs. With the carrying with running 2 legendaries, you have a lot of options. I think the set bonus really helps you more on in Mythic Plus, but more so for like average groups, not coordinated groups. So I would say like their set bonus would put them in. You know, I'm gonna put the very very bottom, like below Prot Warrior B tier, 100%. Holy Priest. This is one I disagree with Dratnos. Actually, I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it. Holy Priest, I think, is A tier. Holy Priest right now, I've seen Holy Priest do about as much damage, give or take, as I do with my Mistweaver right now. In a well-organized group, I can do about 3k on my Mistweaver, and I think a Holy Priest can do that as well right now. With running double legendaries, running the Kieran legendary, anything like that, I think they're going to be super powerful. I think their damage is going to go up, their healing is going to continue to go up. I think they have great utility, Mass Dispel, Guardian Spirit, really, really good things for a lot of Mythic Plus affixes, and I think they're going to be a surprise shocker to a lot of people. They're actually going to, I think these guys are going to be in the top 3 when it comes to damage output. Mistweaver. No shocker, D tier. I don't think Mistweaver is viable in Mythic Plus. Dranos had Mistweaver in C tier. I put him in D tier. I don't think there's anything in a Mistweaver kit that will carry an average group in Mythic Plus. 100%. Their damage is not moved at all. In fact, their damage will go down slightly because you don't have the 3%, 3%, and 2% shards, right? Your Fallen Order got nerfed, which was a chunk of your damage. Your Spinning Crane Kick does absolutely no damage. And to be honest, like Mistweaver, 100%. If they had some interaction with Spinning Crane Kick with Ancient Teachings into Ancient Teachings of the Monastery, those are 2 different things, that would become a B or an A tier. The problem is that, Rising Sun Kick and Blackout Kick do hit decently hard single target, but you don't have really any good AoE abilities. And, yeah, you're doing passive damage and healing, but in order to do real healing, you have to stop in hard cast. And if you don't have the proper setup, you're not going to hit that hard Revivify. So, yeah, ideally, like when I heal, I Essence Font on cooldown, keep renewing Mist up, and do damage. It's a bulk of what I do, at least in raids. And Mythic Plus, you're going to be casting a lot of Enveloping Mist, a lot of Vivify, then you're not doing damage. So the whole they do passive damage argument's kind of BS in that regard. If they had some interaction with their entire kit, and running Ancient Teachings of the Monastery with Sinister Teachings is going to help, but man, I've run through keys on the PTR, and I can't break 4K. And yeah, I think those characters are only 252, but like when I can jump on the top healer and do 13,000 DPS, and I can't even break 4K on a Mistweaver, there's a huge difference. Speaking of 12,000 DPS, Resto Shaman, by far the most powerful class spec going into 9.2. Vesper Totem is so incredibly powerful, it's not even funny. I have, on the live version, running a 235 Kieran Legendary on Heroic Sylvanas of clip 3.5k DPS. Now, full disclosure, we had 5 healers in a 30-man group, and 2 of those healers were pumping way harder than me. I did like 6,800, and they were like 10k. But that was because I was really focusing. But the fact that you're going to be able to run the Earth Elemental Legendary with the CDR, they have plenty of utility, good HOTS. They have a lot of crap buttons. Like literally, just like this is how you essentially play it, right? If there's 3 or more, you throw up your Riptides. Even Healing Ring is not a bad idea to pop, just to add for the Cloudburst Tome and just go ham on Chain Lightning and then keep Riptide up. And then if people start taking damage, pop that Cloudburst early. All that extra overheal and everything from Healing Rain and everything like that is really going to add up. And then boom, everybody's topped off and you can kind of reset. So they're just so incredibly powerful. It's not even funny. Havoc, definitely A tier. I'm going to put them here. Havoc has been very strong this patch. I think they're just getting stronger. Good AoE. Obviously, an independent player, but, I've seen a 250 Havoc Demon Hunter do 12k in a Plaguefall 16, and I've seen one do 5k. Same gearing, same item level, I don't know, same gearing. But very strong. Probably not quite S tier, but very strong. Frost. This one I'm kind of up in the air. I'm gonna put them in C tier because I think they're moving away from Breath, and I don't know how good their AoE damage is gonna be without Breath. That's kind of my concern. I think they bring decent utility. They have short cooldowns and long cooldowns. If they go the 2-hand obliteration spec, do they have enough AoE for Mythic Plus? I'm not sure. I don't do bad. running the Remorseless Winter. And if you run Kyrian, then you run a Kyrian Legendary, and it's not bad. But that's the other thing is, like, if you're not running Breath, you're most likely going to be Kyrian, and, you know, Kyrian's already very oversaturated at the moment. And I'm not sure if Two-Hand Obliteration is going to go with another Covenant. And because of that, I think that, you know, we're going to be running into that. So give me one quick second. Sorry about that message. Unholy Death Knight. Solid B tier. This is why I disagree with Dranos. 100%. They do fantastic AoE, consistent AoE, good burst AoE. They're getting some single target damage. They're getting some single target execute, really good for Tyrannical. Good utility. They're going to most likely run Necrolord, or at least they can, which gives them the AoE grip. Just really good utility. In fact, I'm going to put them... I think I'm the very top end of B tier. Streaming, can't listen. Moonkin, I think they've fallen a fair bit, and I think put the middle of B tier. I'm not sure which Covenant they're going to go. Kyrian looked like a good pick, and they got nerfed. Venthy requires a lot of ramp. A lot of people are still Night Fae. I think that they're none of them run trees anymore. So I feel like I'm seeing less and less good ones out there. Feral, I'm gonna put in the bottom of C tier with their set bonus getting nerfed. Not ideal because they were looking really good AoE. That's still where they struggle. I think we'll still have to see how numbers play out, but I do think they're in the bottom of C tier. Beastmaster, I'm going to put in the bottom of B tier. I think they still bring lust. They still, they are very good affixes that require movement. Basically, nothing stops them from doing damage. So that's definitely key. Oh, wow. Whoops. I think that utility and the fact to bring Lost and that they can play probably Kyrian or Night Fae is very, very good. Marksmanship, I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm going to put it in the middle of B tier. I think a lot of people just play Beastmaster, but I think Marksmanship is okay. I'm probably going to put them next to each other. I think it should be fine. Survival, apparently they got nerfed, but they still do a lot of damage. I'm going to put them very high of C tier. I know Dranos had them in C tier as well. Arcane's still looking pretty good. I'm going to put them in the middle of B tier. I'm going to put Fire down here and Frost up here. Actually, I'm going to put Fire there. Why am I getting messaged all the time? So, Frost, yeah, it got damage nerfed, but it got some of its buffs taken back a little bit. Great utility. Its damage is still decent. It looks really promising. Having that CC ability is just so huge. Arcane's still looking good single target. I think Fire's been shafted a fair bit, so we're definitely going to see that drop down a fair bit. Windwalker, really good for keys as long as it's not tyrannical. That's why they're like the very low end of A. Their single target's still awful. That's not been fixed. It feels like they only cared about Brewmaster this patch. Like, they literally did nothing but gut Mistweaver, and they gave Brewmaster everything and then didn't leave anything for Windwalker either. It did get hit pretty hard with the Necrolord nerf because they were stacking crit. Ret, top of C. I think, honestly, one change could really make a difference here. If that change... was what is it? Seraphim proccing for like more than 2 seconds, like 4 or 5, would make this a solid high B tier spec. But I think it's still suffering from a lot. It does bring good utility, but you know, with Bop and spell warding and stuff like that, it's really useful. Off healing, self healing, all that fun stuff. But I think its damage profile just doesn't look good. Shadow Priest. I'm debating. It's not good. They're pretty much below Feral. I think they could do really good high sustained damage, but I don't see a lot of them. They don't have good burst AoE. There's a fair bit of ramp. I think in hierarchies they'll see more benefit, but I think by and large they're not doing great this tier. I'm curious, what did Dratnos say? Let's see if I can pull it up here.
So when we look at World of Warcraft,
Sorry about that. Let's see how different these two are.
oh,
Okay, so where did my other one go? Oh, that's why. Come on. Okay, let's shorten this a little bit. Actually, no, we'll do this.
In this coming season.
Oh, wait, there we go. Now you can see both, right? Okay, so yeah, he has... Yeah, we definitely disagree on a few things. Debating. I think Feral. I think a lot of it really depends on what's going on with that. I'm gonna take his stance on Shadow Priest and put it down there as well. So we'll do that. Where does he have Assassination? That is pretty important. He has Assassination in B. I'll agree with that because I don't play Rogue much, unfortunately. Same thing with Combat, and then Subtleties S, definitely. I do know that. Elemental, this is why I disagree with. I think this is going to be an A tier spec, bottom A tier. I think it's going to get some more single target damage. It's also the king of AoE. Enhancement Shaman, I think he's wrong by 2 tiers, 100%. Enhancement Shaman's getting way more AoE, way more utility, more single target. Just looking much, much, much better. He has Destruction B. He's probably not wrong there. I don't really play Destruction. Where does he have Affliction? Affliction, same thing, so that's good. Affliction's definitely gotten some buffs, and same thing with Demonology. So, class I don't play that much. Last two, Fury, S tier. Arms, A tier. They both bring Rally Cry. They both bring Battle Shout. Fury is just getting more damage, more burst damage, more AoE damage, much more AoE damage, more single target damage. Literally, it's getting more of everything. Like it's getting single target damage, which it needs. It's getting more AoE and cleave, which it needs. Arms, not as much, but still has the same utility, and it can off tank if something dies. So, anyway, guys, that's it. I gotta run. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in